Bam. Bam. My peoples. Welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. We talking boxing, y'all. Um, Let me first of all say I'm dedicating this episode of Boxing for Breakfast to the greatest fighter of this era, Terence Bud Crawford. My peoples, let me say good morning to everybody tuning in. Y'all already know what it is. We're gonna be talking. We're gonna be doing what we do. Brash Garug is in the building, representing the main streets of North Omaha, Nebraska. Terence Crawford stomping grounds. What's the deal? Toy Mafia. Size. Salute my peoples. Appreciate y'all dropping in early in the morning. Getting this, this healthy dosage of sweet science. Jay Smith is in the building, y'all. Um, let's get this thing started right away. Let's not even beat around the bush. The greatest fighter of this era, the guy that's been making history, Terence Crawford, officially announced his retirement from the sport of boxing. Damn. We all got caught by surprise. I think many of us were expecting Terence Crawford to fight again, to, take over the 160 division and all of that stuff. But then Johnny Beck popped 30. So that fight clearly wasn't going to happen. And now we're here. So, before getting into the right now, what's going on right now, I just want to say a little bit about Terence Crawford for us just to consider, right? As far as what his career has been. If you think about it, he really started, getting more and more famous when he beat Gamboa. Like, before the Gamboa fight, he was already becoming popular, and obviously in his home state, people knew him, but he wasn't a big star like that. Even the Gamboa fight, a lot of people did not actually see it. A lot of people, number one, wasn't watching boxing back then, but they loved to talk about that fight. And number two, Crawford wasn't a big name at the time. I watched it because I was following him before that. But the way that he beat Gamboa, and people don't realize that this was an undefeated champion who moved up to challenge Terence Crawford. And at that time, I didn't know Gamboa. I just remember hearing constantly how they were saying, this guy's really good. This guy might be the first one to beat him. This guy, they kept talking about how good Gamboa was. And he was a real test for Terence Crawford. You see that Gamboa's the only guy to stun him. Terence Crawford got wobbled. And over 10 years later, people still talk about that shot. People still talk about, if Gamboa hurt him, imagine what Arrow's going to do to him. If Gamboa hurt him, imagine what Canelo's going to do to him. Like, Gamboa became a reference for Terence Crawford's career. So it was a good fight. But ultimately, Terence Crawford handled business, dropped him multiple times, and stopped him. And then you saw what he did to Kell Brook. Destroyed them. We're talking about a former world champion. And Terence Crawford, easy work for him. Just put the beats on Special K. So you saw Terence Crawford just beating opponents, moving on up. Amir Khan, the same deal. You guys saw what he did to Amir Khan. The Swiss, the Dre, the Apple Beats stopped him with a body shot. Made him quit, to be honest. Khan says he didn't quit, but Crawford made him quit. This is another guy, former multi-division world champion. Amir Khan made easy work of Maidana. Easy, like beat him up. And people You know, as soon as Terence Crawford beat him, they want to disrespect him. Like, oh, nah, Mir Khan ain't. That was a great win. And you saw what he did to Sean Porter, the first fighter to stop Sean Porter, but they tried to discredit that win by saying, no, Sean Porter's not the same. He retiring. But then the Errol Spence fight. You guys know what was the whole narrative behind this fight. Terence Crawford is too small. Errol Spence is too big. Terence Crawford is going to get knocked out. He doesn't have enough to keep Spence off of him. All of that stuff. Supposedly, Terence Crawford was going to get stopped for the first time. And how did that play out? Yo, Bud damn near killed Errol. This man almost caught a murder charge that night. Brascarell and Dongo folded like a cheap suit. Man, listen. And Dongo, undefeated world champion, took a nasty body shot. There was nothing he could do but just lay down. You're going to get down or lay down. Crawford laid them. But this fight right here, I have to say that was Crawford's real opportunity to show the world who he was. Because there was always that doubt. You know, yeah, he's beating this person, but he's a nobody. He's washed. He's not the same. Like, there was always an excuse for everybody. And even though they came out with an excuse after he beat Errol, but we know what was the narrative before the fight. How big Errol was, how strong. It's like, damn, you haven't learned that big and strong doesn't win fights at this point. Cool story. You guys know, those who were there know, I predicted specifically that Terence Crawford was going to stop Errol Spence in the 8th or the 9th round. There's a lot of factors that went into that. But the point is, this win right here, career defining. It allowed the masses to see what Crawford was about. Then he moves up in weight, beats Madrimov, an undefeated champion who, of course, people are going to discredit and diminish because they don't want to give Crawford his flowers. But now he's a champion in another division, a 4th division. But that's not enough. Jumps up 2 divisions and challenges Canelo Alvarez. And what was the narrative? Does this sound familiar? Canelo's too big. Crawford's not going to be able to keep him off of him. Canelo's too strong. That's it. He's going to get knocked out. He's only doing it for the payday. He knows he's getting knocked out. He knows he's going to sleep. And how did that play out? Another career-defining win. So once he put the beat on Madrimov and won a title at 154, he goes up and does the same to Canelo Alvarez. Just like every other opponent he faced, beat him up. Convincing win. This man retired with all of these accomplishments, and he was never involved in a fight where you like, oh shit, he's gonna lose. He's about to lose. That never happened in his whole career, ever. That's what tells you we're witnessing greatness. Witness greatness. And I knew it all along. By the way, let me just point that out. From early on, I was like, nah, this guy's special. This guy's different. Early, my peoples. And when I say early, look, when Crawford first signed, I think with Top Rank, his first fight or his first couple of fights wasn't like on an ESPN card. It was like an ESPN affiliate. So in the ring, you didn't see the ESPN logo. I remember they had that red ring. And I still remember when he had the big cornrows And the announcer was saying, this guy's a scary guy. This guy's scary, the way that he fights. And I'm watching him like, damn, yo, this guy is different. Crawford in the ring, he's like a bully. He a bully. He's gonna bully you. There's gonna be times where they just ain't shit you can do but get bullied. He's gonna do that. And he did that to Canelo. You saw in the 9th round, bullied him. Bullied him. Errol got bullied. Khan bullied. He was just out there beating people up, my people. That's what he did throughout his career. And all the hating that Terence Crawford got. And now you have to look back at the resume. And look at all the champions that he beat. All the names that he beat. All the guys that he beat who held titles, who were reigning champions. All the undefeated fighters that he beat. And then you top it off with Canelo Alvarez, where everybody said you was going to get knocked out. What a way to do it, my peoples. And I said this yesterday. Yesterday night, I went live. I had to talk about this situation. And I said, you know what? Terence Crawford, he's retired officially. But if they give him $100 million, or if they offer him $100 million, I think he comes back. Canelo says he want to do the rematch in September. He know the number. Give him 100 mils and make it happen. But if they not going to give Terence Crawford $100 million to come back, that's it. It may really be over. We may never see him again. Side, but took all the belts and that ring the WBC made for Canelo. Man, that WBC trinket is trash. Keep that trash. Shy Guy, he says he's fighting Jake Paul next year. Yeah, but that's probably an exhibition. If he retired, it would probably be an exhibition. And he never say he fighting Jake Paul. Come on, don't do it like that. He didn't say he was gonna fight Jake Paul. Let's not act like that's actually gonna happen. It could, you never know. But ultimately, we know, you know what the decision is right now. Terence Crawford is retired as the greatest fighter of this era, and now we have to have a conversation as to where does he land on the all-time greats list. We're going to have a show just about that. We're going to go live to talk just about that specifically. Wes Dustin, Greg Hackett said he spoke with him last night and he seemed more frustrated than done. He doesn't believe it's over. I said it before, my brother, and I said it just now. If they offer him what he's worth, he'll be back. He'll come back. I believe that. But you're not going to diminish me. You're not going to discredit me. You're not going to underpay me. Nah, I'm the guy. That's it. I'm him. Braskarug, I would never trust Jake Paul, period. I mean, he could do an exhibition. You know, the people that's doing business with Jake Paul, they making a lot of money. So as far as doing business with him, I would. If I could do business with Jake Paul, I would. Side, Bo would come back and dog walk Jake Paul for boxing if he magically beats AJ. Now listen, I honestly, the notion that Jake Paul is gonna beat AJ, man, I just don't see it happening. It would be the biggest upset of boxing history. Well, here's the deal. Here's the problem, right? It's a monumental upset. But it's an 8-rounder. Jake Paul is fighting AJ, but it's not a championship fight. So is it as big as Buster Douglas upsetting Mike Tyson? I don't know. Because that's a championship fight. That's what I'm saying, though. How meaningful this is. This is not a meaningful fight at all. It's just 2 stars, Jake Paul, AJ, but it's an 8-rounder. So, but it's still, man, gonna be one of the biggest upsets we've ever seen. If it happens, but it's not gonna happen. Don't bank on it, my peoples. Jake Paul is going to sleep brutally. Remember that I told you that. Wes does it. Bud took shorts for many years. He deserved his bread or his rest. Either way, I'm glad for him. I agree with you. You see, Crawford is that fighter who really had to do it the hard way. Who really had to wait till his 30s to get his turn. And I say to his 30s to get his turn because that big fight with that big star was with Errol Spence at 34 years old. Before that, people had excuses about Khan's age, about Porter's age, about, they wanted the fighter to be, younger, bigger than Crawford, all of that stuff. So the first big shot was with Errol, but it eluded him. You know why? Because his first big shot should have been with Manny Pacquiao years prior to Errol. Years before that. He should have got his shot. Through the roof. You fight and beat Manny Pacquiao through the roof. Errol and them would have been trying to fight him. But he didn't get that shot. So people don't realize what makes Crawford great is that when they made him wait, when they didn't give him the fight, he just kept winning. That's the hard part, my peoples. Along the line, along that trip, that's when people take losses. When you're waiting for your opportunity. Oh, and you got to remember, when he fought Errol Spence, they fought for Undisputed. He had the WBO title. That's the only belt that he had. Imagine if Terence Crawford would have lost that title to Sean Porter. He would have never fought Errol Spence, ever. Without that WBO strap, his opportunity, his shot at fighting Errol was gone forever. Because he wasn't going to fight you for nothing. But the same way people try to label it as Errol giving him an opportunity, I got to tell you, Errol was getting his own opportunity because he was trying to become undisputed. He was trying to grab that WBO title. He was trying to take what Terence Crawford had. So he wasn't there to, let me just give you an opportunity. Errol Spence was there to try to get his. And what he got was the beating of a lifetime. That's what he got. So all the people who've been hating on Terence Crawford, look at the resume. Look at the names. Look at the performances. Army Dash, salute my brother. Bam. Congrats to Terence Crawford. Wes Dustin. Errol was after the Canelo fight too. Errol was after the Canelo fight. Think you mean the other way around. The Hydro Grind. Good morning, my peoples. Bam. I had to look you up. Didn't get the notification. You know how it is, man. We on shadow ban mode. I'm glad you found me, brother. But you know what it is, man. Mondays through Fridays, we here no matter what. Whether they shadow ban me, whether they try to stop me, they not going to be able to. Braska Rub. And to do it clean. No drama. No legal issues. No scandals. One of a kind, bro. You said nothing but facts. Terence Crawford wasn't out there getting locked up, wasn't out there getting involved in all type of crazy stuff. In the gym, fighting, training, and building. Building his portfolio, getting properties. owning businesses, building gyms, working with endorsements. Terence Crawford's doing it all right now. So he don't need boxing. That's why I told people before. When he decides to retire, you have to give him an amount of money that is worth him coming back, because at this point, Terence Crawford and his family never have to work a day in their life. Generational wealth has been secured. Where's the people that like to give credit for getting the bag? He secured the bag. Damn. Damn, my peoples. Wes doesn't know. Errol was trying to land the Canelo fight. Oh yeah, I remember that. I remember that. They was floating that around. That Errol Spence was willing to move up and fight Canelo. But I don't know if they was looking past Crawford at that time, but that beatdown took place no matter what they was thinking was gonna happen. The hydro grind, let's get this sweet dose of boxing for breakfast. You know it, my G. Victor J. Smith, Bud has been catching heat for leaving his wife for a snow bunny. I mean, if you think about it, we've been talking about Crawford for months and months. You're the only one that's bringing that up. Ain't nobody else bringing that up. And the funny thing about that is that Terence Crawford has never been married in his life. He's never been married. He has somebody that he's with, that he has a relationship with, and he's still with her. The family's still together. So, you know, I know you want to frame it like that because you always hated Terence Crawford. You had Canelo knocking him out, making it look easy. So it's only natural for you to bring that shit up. Ain't nobody talking about that shit. That shit is irrelevant as hell. Shy Guy. But put Nebraska on the map. I don't know. Nobody came from over there. Come on now. I mean, Warren Buffett is from Nebraska, but that's a guy, you know, in the world of investments. And there's people who don't even know who that is. There's people out there who don't even know who that is. Come on now. Oh, we got the first dummy in the building got handled by the hydro grind. Nebraska Rug, Malcolm X. Left field. Come on, man. Come on. You know the dummy's going to show up. You know the dummy's going to show up. But at the end, 24, 24, 24. Woo, 24, 24, 24. Woo. My peoples, we got to do a segment called 24, 24, 24. But we digressed. What Terence Crawford accomplished can only be described as greatness. And we witnessed greatness, and as always, there was a group of people that refused to accept it and hated the whole time. History's gonna recognize Terence Crawford not just as the greatest of this era, but one of the greatest of all time. We got to watch that. Performance after performance. Bam, bam, bam. Going at it, trading leather, giving us excitement. Giving us the fights, the type of fights that we want to see. And people still hated on him. That goes to show you. That goes to show you what happens when you're great at something. There's always going to be people who don't want to accept your greatness. Hochi Henao, my man, be spitting facts. Salute, my brother. Nebraska Road, Malcolm X from Omaha. Gerald Ford. Oh, there's more. There you have it. Come on now. The Hydro Grind retired on top. Come on, man. On top. As the undisputed champion in the third division and right after beating the face of boxing. Boom. Hold that. Take that. Now you got to give him $100 million if you want him to unretire. That's the number. They already put it out there. Give him 100 mils. And he could come back and bait your ass. Victor J, if Johnny Beck didn't pop for steroids, do you think Bud still would have retired? No. If Johnny Beck was clean, I believe that fight would have happened. That fight would have happened this year for sure. But that's it. Johnny Beck fumbled the bag for himself. The biggest bag of his career, the biggest stage of his career. And ultimately, the dominoes fell into place for Crawford to retire. Wes Dussett. Even Max Kellerman was giving him props last night. I mean, anybody who knows boxing, who understands what boxing is about, knows what we witnessed. Lexa Augustus, he'll never get 100 mil. He's not sellable. Yeah, you definitely... Just tell me what round you thought Canelo was going to knock him out in. When you say that, just tell me what round did you think Canelo was going to knock him out in. Because I want you to understand right now, Terence Crawford, the guy came out in Forbes magazine, already has over $100 million that he made now, plus what he has. And this whole time you've been saying that he don't make no money like that. He's not the beast, he doesn't sell. And the guy has over 100 million and you're still floating that fake narrative. So just tell me what round you had Canelo knocking Crawford out in so that I can gauge your level of anger. If you had Canelo knocking him out in the 11th or 12th, you're angry because he beat Canelo up. But if you had Canelo making it look easy and knocking him out in the 5th, now you're unhinged. Because you're beside yourself. You don't understand what happened. You're still confused. Shy Guy, Max is a dog. Are you talking about Max Kellerman? The Hydrogrind. We should do a best or worst of 2025 show before the year ends with polls so we can vote. That's a good idea, the Hydrogrind. Let's do that. We're going to do that. I like that. I like that, my boy. We're gonna vote on who you guys think are the best fighters of 2025 per division. We're gonna vote on who you guys think are the worst fighters in 2025 per divisions, the most overrated. We're gonna talk about all that. All that. Devin, Shakur gonna beat the shit out Teofimo Lopez. It's not even a matchup. Beat the shit out of him. I'm going to make my official prediction on Box Center 2.0. I'm saying it's going to be competitive for now, but I'm going to let you guys know what it is. Make sure you subscribe to Box Center 2.0, my peoples. Jay Stradamus is going to let you know how you're going to flip your money with that fight. Victor J. Madrimov probably goes down as Bud's hardest opponent. No, I think it's going to be Gamboa. No, it is going to be Gamboa. I watched both fights. It's definitely going to be Gamboa. You know why? Because Madrimov landed on Crawford. The punches he landed with Crawford standing in front of him. Like, people don't understand that Crawford decided to go toe-to-toe, blow for blow with Madrimov. He could have boxed him and boxed circles around him and made it look easy, but he chose to go toe-to-toe with him. So the difference is that with Gamboa, especially early in the fight, Crawford was having problems with his speed. That speed, Gamboa was getting on from Crawford. And you saw Crawford having to make adjustments. So I would say, in my opinion, the toughest fight in Crawford's career was that Gamboa fight, especially because he got wobbled. It's the only time that we seen Crawford get wobbled is in that fight. Because with Mean Machine, that people say he got knocked down, he actually didn't get knocked down. He got clipped, and when he tried to close in for the clinch, Mean Machine pushed him down. I've seen the replay a million times already. That was not a knockdown, but people hate Crawford, so they're going to say it is. But it wasn't. Ghost Nectar. Let the nigga retire in peace. He was a great champ. I gotta agree. The greatest of this era and one of the greatest of all time. We're gonna have to have a conversation about where in the all-time list do we have to put Terence Crawford. The Hydro Grind, keep it respectful in the chat, my peoples. We can voice our opinion and we can disagree, but no disrespect. That's what I'm talking about. Come on, man. Let's make it civilized. We don't want to cook you this early. Side. Toughest fights for Bud were Porter, Gamboa, and Madrimov. I would say so. There you have it right there. Porter, Gamboa, Madrimov. Because, man, Porter was tough. Porter was a tough opponent. That's what makes it funny how people say, no, but Porter was almost retired and he wasn't all that. Look at the performance that he put together against Terence Crawford. 1 round, his punch output was he was his usual self. That's the funny thing about it. When they say Porter wasn't the same, there really isn't anything inside the ring that you could point at to say that he wasn't the same. He looked fast, he was aggressive, he was swarming. I saw the same Sean Porter, the usual guy. Terence Crawford was just better, the better fighter. C-Mac, how many rounds you think Jake Paul survives? I don't know, man. I don't know. Depend what type of fight he's going to make. If he's going to be for real trying to win, he could get knocked out real early. But if he's going to just try to survive, he could go a few rounds, 4 or 5. Side, that was actually one of the best Porters we've ever seen. But that's what I'm saying. They only say that Porter wasn't the same, but what can you point out inside the ring to suggest that he wasn't? The guys land, the hands fly like crazy. Shy Guy, I say Porter. Lil Gamboa just had that one shot that wobbled him. That one shot that wobbled him. Yeah, you definitely didn't watch that fight. 100% you didn't watch that fight. Gamboa was winning rounds. Super competitive throughout the whole fight. Giving Crawford problems like crazy with that speed. It probably took till like round number 4, round number 5 before Crawford started timing him. What are you talking about, bro? Gamboa was giving Crawford problems. He actually had to make adjustments. So, nah, you didn't watch that fight. You must have just watched the highlights or something. Al Booker, I had Porter up in that fight until Bud turned it up on him. Nah, Porter was never winning in that fight, man. He was competitive, for sure. He was never winning. Al Booker, I said, God damn, Bud is a bad man. The only guy to stop Sean Porter. The only one to ever do that. And you know what's funny about that? Fans hate on Crawford so much that they was like, nah, Porter could have kept going. Porter could have kept going. That's not a good stoppage. Think about it. He's dropped Sean Porter twice in the same round, and there's mad time left to go in the round. What the hell you think was gonna happen? You think his pops was gonna let him get slapped? Because that's the thing about boxing fans. They want to see the fighter go to sleep. They want to see him just be stiff laying down on their back. Nah, my peoples. It don't have to go down like that. You don't have to let him get beat to death. The referee, I'm glad the referee saved Arrow. Crawford damn near killed him. That's why you have to accept this guy is not just that he's special. It's not just that he's the best today. It's that we witness greatness. When you look at every single one of his fights, you were witnessing greatness. Braskarov, Porter, most impressive win, but literally targeted him for KO. Remember, they told Crawford that he was behind on the cards. Think about that. And he actually wasn't. He actually was not behind on the cards. But since the fight was close, they wanted to play it safe. The Leagues 24, salute, bam. They wanted to play it safe and told him, yo, you're behind on the cards, but he wasn't. The Hydro Grind is but your greatest of all time. I have to analyze. Because I say he was already in the top 10, but I really have to analyze that. I can't just answer that question. So let me give you a quick recap of Terence Crawford's career, right? So the first time that I saw him, I'm gonna tell you who it was that he fought. If I'm not mistaken, it was either Hardy Paredes or Sidney Sekira. I'm not sure which one of them two was because it was before Bradis Prescott. So I watched him, and the first time that I saw him fight, like, who is this guy? Damn, he's good. But I didn't watch the whole fight. Before I had mentioned the first time that I watched him, but I didn't say this. The first time that I actually watched Crawford, I didn't watch the whole fight. He was already fighting. And he knocked the guy out. And after that, he fought Bradis Prescott. And that's the fight that I really watched like, oh shit. This the guy that I seen the other day. This guy's nice. And Bradis Prescott, at that time, people were saying that was his toughest opponent, which it was. Some people were saying Prescott was going to beat him. He put the beats on Prescott. So ever since then, my peoples, I was like, yo, Terence Crawford is a special fighter. I was telling people about him. I was telling people, yo, right now, at that time, I was telling people, right now, I don't know anybody that could beat this guy. He fights Ricky Burns. Again, oh, that's going to be his toughest test. Ricky Burns could really fight. He might take an L right now. Put the beats on Ricky Burns. Then he move up to fight. I mean, no, he don't move up. Yuriorki Gamboa moved up to fight him. When Gamboa fought Crawford, he was 23-0 and had been a world champion in the previous division. And that was one of the toughest fights in Crawford's career. What made it a tough fight? Styles make fights, my peoples. And Gamboa just had that speed, that awkwardness, those angles. And he made it difficult. But eventually, Crawford figured him out, started timing him, and just started teeing off. You guys saw it. Ultimately, it ended up in a nasty stoppage where Crawford dropped him multiple times and finished him. There's Raimundo Beltran. Beltran, I think, is a fighter who everybody knows was very experienced, but that was, somebody who we didn't think could beat Crawford. So I was like, oh, no, Crawford's going to beat this guy up. After that, Thomas Dulorme, who had a record of 22-1. Crawford put the beats on him. Thierry Jean, 29-1. Crawford put the beats on him. I'm saying the records because I want you guys to think about the fact, yo, Crawford wasn't out there fighting guys with losing records, fighting guys with a bunch of losses, fighting guys. Nah. Look at the records of the people who Crawford was fighting. Thierry Jean, 29-0. Crawford stops him. Hank Lundy, 26-5. He tried to be competitive for like a round or something. Crawford beat him up. Victor Postol, who at that time was 28-0. Crawford beat him up. John Molina, 29-6. You know the results. Felix Diaz. This guy is an Olympic gold medalist and a former world champion with only one loss on his record. Crawford stopped him. Julius Ndango, reigning world champion with a record of 22-0. Crawford stopped him with a nasty body shot. Jeff Horn, 18-0. The guy who beat Manny Pacquiao. Crawford stopped him. Jose Benavidez Jr. at the time, 27-0. Got stopped. Amir Khan, multi-division world champion. Record of 33-4. He got stopped with a nasty body shot. Egidijus Kavaliauskas, a.k.a. Mean Machine, a record of 21-0. He got stopped. Kell Brook, former world champion, a record of 39-2. Stopped. Sean Porter, with a record of 31-3, another former world champion. Crawford became the first fighter to stop him. David Avanesian, 29-3, got beat up and stopped. Errol Spence, 3-belt champion. None of those was email titles, vacant titles. He beat 3 reigning champions to catch those. Terence Crawford damn near killed them. Stoppage. Israel Madrimov with a record of 10-0. Reigning world champion. Terence Crawford beat him. Jumps up 2 division. He's supposed to be too small. He's supposed to get knocked out. Canelo Alvarez is too big. There's weight classes for a reason. And yet, Terence Crawford got one of the biggest wins in boxing history over Canelo Alvarez. And after that, chose to retire. So there you have it, my peoples. One of the greatest careers in the history of boxing. And we got to witness it. We lucky. We got to witness it. Our booger, David's still hot about them Everlast gloves. Look, man, I'm going to tell you like this. Terence Crawford is hurting a lot of people's feelings. A lot of people hurt for different reasons. Mauricio Sulaiman is hurt. Now that he understood that his little trinket belt don't mean shit to some people. Look, that's how you know that Terence Crawford is different. He could have paid the $300K. It's not that he don't got it. It's not that he don't got it or that he can't do it. It's that y'all moving funny. Y'all robbing fighters. And you're not going to rob me. It doesn't matter if it's $300K or $300. You're not robbing me. Irving Mack, hit the like button. Salute, my brother. Appreciate it. Bam. And check it, my peoples. Welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast, where you get your healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. Yo, shout out to Terence Crawford, man. Shaku hands. He stood in his 10. Gabriel Pujroy, thanks to Terence Crawford. Man, listen. You gotta say it, man. Thank you to Terence Crawford for giving us so many great fights, so many memories, so many, performances that we can go back and look at, talk about, enjoy. Because Listen, I'm going to tell you like this. I'm going to have a Bud-a-thon up in here. Okay? And I'm going to announce that later. But I'm having a Bud-a-thon. You know what's a Bud-a-thon? I'm going to do a whole day. I'm going to be live for a whole day. And we're going to be talking about Terence Crawford. So there you have it. I'm announcing this shit right now. I wasn't even going to. But I'm going to do a whole day on Terence Crawford where we're going to be looking at all of his fights. We're going to be looking at everything that has happened in and outside the ring. We're going to be looking at the whole story. So get ready for the Bud-a-thon from Jay Smith going down in Box Center. Hey, y'all know it, man. Y'all know how I get down. This is going to be crazy because the Bud-a-thon is going to be... I don't know if I'm going to be able to handle it, but it's supposed to be a live that I'm going the whole day. Let's see how it go down, my people. Get ready for the Bud-a-thon. Libra 809. I am going to miss Crawford. I fell in love with boxing because of him. A lot of people fell in love with the sweet science from watching. And even his last fight, if it is, with Canelo Alvarez, 40 million people worldwide tuned in to watch. So you know there's a lot of people who got inspired. Shaku Hands. No, Goofy ain't get the free money. And how he looking stupid. Goofy, goofiest of the oofiest, Mauricio Sulaiman the clown. Man, he a goofball. I'll booger that dope. Side. But it's one of them fighters you never want to retire. But it's great he's choosing the perfect time to step away from the sport. I'm going to be honest. I wanted to see him fight at 160 and accomplish that one more feat of becoming a 6th division champion. But I'm happy that he gets to retire on his own terms. At the top, undefeated, as a world champion, as an undisputed champion. All of that he has accomplished, ain't no better way. He's good. He don't need to fight anybody else to, you know, the career, the bag, everything is established. The generational wealth is there. Irving Mack, the underdog has overcome the game. Listen, I said this before. Crawford is that guy who wasn't supposed to be. Remember when he beat Canelo? He said, shout out to the nobodies. Shout out to the nobodies. The guy who people say he's always going to be the B-side. Look, even in this chat, every chat, there's going to be somebody say, nah, he's not marketable. He doesn't sell. The guy made over $100 million. And he's not marketable. Think about how many advertisement deals Crawford has right now with Everlast and with a bunch of other companies. But he's not marketable. Like they've been on denial about Terence Crawford every step of the way. They have not wanted to accept what he's been doing, what he's been accomplishing, and what he means to boxing and boxing history. They just have not been willing to accept it. Like, how does a guy become the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world, but he just beat a bunch of tomato cans? Who does that? Tell me another guy who you felt reached #1 pound-for-pound in the world by just beating a bunch of nobodies and a bunch of bums. How exactly do you do that? So you have to understand, Terence Crawford's resume is not made up of bums. And look at this. Go look at your favorite fighters and compare this stat. I'm going to count them right now for you guys. These are the undefeated fighters that Terence Crawford beat in his career. Early on, I'm starting from the beginning. Andrei Klimov, 16-0. Yuriorki Gamboa, 23-0. Victor Postol, 28-0. Julius Ndango, 22-0. Jeff Horn, 18-0. Jose Benavides Jr., 27-0. Mean Machine, 21-0. Errol Spence, 28-0. Israel Madrimov, 10-0. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 undefeated fighters that Terence Crawford beat in his career. Now go ahead and look at your favorite fighters. Go look at your favorite fighters and see how many O's they took. And you're going to start to understand. Because that's another thing. Fans sometimes are suckered into believing that if a fighter's not famous, if it's not a big star, he's no good. Exhibit A. What's this guy that damn near murdered Tim Tszyu? Bakram Murtasaliev. Exhibit A. Bakram Murtasaliev. You didn't know him. I didn't know him. And anybody who say they did, they lying. This guy was fighting in Europe in little small venues, in fights that wasn't even televised, fights that was shown in local areas. You didn't know Madrimov. We didn't know him. We saw a few, Murtasaliev, Bakram Murtasaliev. We saw a few highlights here and there. We didn't know who Bakram was. And look what he turned out to be. Damn near caught a homicide charge against Tim Tszyu. So, just because you don't know somebody doesn't mean they not nice like that. Doesn't mean that they not world caliber. Sai, I'm trying to tell you, bro. Still damn near almost caught a body on Timmy. And we didn't even know him. So, when a fighter goes out there versus somebody you don't know and they have an O, you risking your own O versus that guy because you don't know. It's that mystery. And there's some good fighters out there. Terence Crawford has faced some good fighters that people just don't want to accept how good they actually was. But let's keep it 100. My peoples, look at the resume. Look at the names. Look at the champions and the former world champions. And then you cap that off by jumping up 2 divisions and putting the beats on the face of boxing. So that now you become the face of boxing right before you call it a day. Come on, my people. We have to understand what we actually witnessed. And even now, the haters are going to hate. You're going to see people understanding what we witnessed and giving Crawford his flowers. Like, yes, he did it. You don't understand. Crawford did what he wasn't supposed to do. He wasn't supposed to accomplish all of these things. The system was set up against him. He should have lost a long time ago. While they was making him wait for that Arrow fight, waiting it out, he was supposed to take an L, lose the title. Arrow doesn't give him an opportunity, and that's it. Crawford's just some guy that, was good, but didn't get there. Didn't go all the way like we thought he would. Al Booger. Shout out to Tim Tszyu. He's about to get back in the ring. Sai. Tim Tszyu just won by UD. Damn, I didn't even know that. I missed it. I wish you would have told me earlier. I would have tuned in. I would have put the fight on. Big Head Noise. Yes, he was. People like you doubted him and still do. People like you, damn, you must be new to the channel, fam. People like you definitely new to the channel. I predicted Terence Crawford was gonna do all this shit. Al Booger, he already fought. Okay, I didn't know. I didn't even know Tim Tszyu was fighting today. Missed it. We're gonna look. I was just saying this the other day. Tim Tszyu is a fighter who I believe can still become a world champion. Yes, he took a couple losses, but come on now. I've seen a lot of fighters accomplish after losing. Losing doesn't mean that you're done, that you're overrated, that you're a hype job, that you cooked. It don't mean that. Big Head Noise said, people like you doubted him. Fam, slow your roll. Relax. You don't even realize you sound like a goofball right now. But, ladies and gentlemen, I digressed. When we look at the career of Terence Crawford, he didn't get the opportunities that he was supposed to get. He didn't get the fight that he should have gotten. Because if you think about it, when he was in the welterweight division, he should have got the fight with Danny Garcia. He should have got the fight with Keith Thurman. He should have got the fight with Sean Porter while Sean Porter had the title, while he was still a world champion. And he couldn't get none of those fights. Couldn't fight any of those guys. Side, in But We Trust, my motto for a minute. Man, listen. This is my motto. Let me tell you my motto. WWBD. What would Bud do? That's the question. What would Bud do? We got a 24 in the building. 24, 24, 24. Bam, 24, 24, 24. Bam. You see, if you come through with the goofballery, that's what you're going to get. Side, the boxing messiah. 24, 24, 24. Bam, 24, 24, 24. We got to celebrate those 24s. But damn, man, the way that Crawford went about, becoming 3 times undisputed is crazy. Because at the welterweight division, the odds were stacked against him. They didn't want to give him those fights. Think about it. They allowed Errol to unify all 3 titles. And throughout that time, Crawford just had to fight somebody else. He could have took a L. If he wasn't who he say he is, who he is, he would have took a L along the way. But he did not. That's what happens when you're the greatest. It's not a... Look, let me give you an example. Look at Teofimo Lopez. He got 1 loss to George Kambosos. And people won't shut up about that loss. 1. This guy's a multi-division champion. Well, honestly, people who know boxing, they accept what Teofimo is. They respect that. But people who don't know shit about boxing, they judge Teofimo by the Kambosos fight. That's it. To some people, that's the fight that they'll never stop talking about to say that Teofimo's not great. And Teofimo's a great fighter. But he had that 1 bad fight. He could have beat Kambosos. We're going to watch this fight. My peoples, I'm going to call this fight for you guys. We're going to watch it. And when we watch this fight together, and I call it for you, you're going to realize, but Teofimo's putting all type of hands on Kambosos too. He just started doing it too late. He wouldn't... Look, the problem with this fight, my peoples, is that Teofimo went in with an attitude like he was going to blast Kambosos out of there. So those first 4 or 5 rounds, he was eating all type of punches because he was getting outboxed. And his father giving him the worst instructions I ever seen. How you got beat up in this round? You go sit in your corner and all your pops say, go fuck him up. Fuck him up. Like, bro, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. You don't think I'm trying to fuck him up? You maybe want to tell him. You maybe want to tell him, you know, the jab, the slip, the punch and counter. You want to tell him the instructions of what exactly you're going to do to fuck him up? So Pop Deuce was doing a horrible job in the corner. Teofimo was out there like he thought he was going to blast Kambosos out of there. And by the time he started working and boxing and beating Kambosos, it was too late because he was way behind on the cards. That's it. Drop Kambosos, had him surviving, but he needed a stoppage because he fell behind on the cards. Side, imagine if they never froze him out at 147. If they never froze Terence Crawford out at 147, he would have absolutely caused mayhem in that division. The star that he is right now, he would have became that star at 147 before moving up. Right now, the guy that he's right now, the respect that he's getting on the world scale, he would have got it if they would have gave him those fights. He would have fought Danny and beat him, and then beat Keith, and then beat Porter, and then beat Arrow. That sequence like that, bam, 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 just slaying them back to back. It would have been crazy, but PBC wasn't having it. They wasn't trying to give him those fights. It's Tragic Academy. All it takes is 1 second. It helps a lot. Side, imagine if they, like I said, bro, if Terence Crawford would have had the opportunity to fight those guys and early on too, it would have been different. But still, I think it's just proof of his greatness that Terence Crawford really had to wait. They just wouldn't give him those fights. Some people get those fights early. Look at Shakur Stevenson and Teofimo Lopez. They're going to fight each other. They're in their 20s. Teofimo Lopez got the fight with Lomachenko. How old he was? 24? Pues let me go get you your breakfast. Give me a hold. I love you. Yeah, go sit down. I'm going to go there right now. Yeah. My peoples, I'm going to take a quick commercial break. My son wants his breakfast, so I got to handle that. You know what it is. Welcome to Boxing for Breakfast, my peoples, to everybody tuning in. This episode, you know, we're going over Terence Crawford's retirement, his career, everything we got to witness, the way that Mauricio, the goofball Sulaiman decided to strip him. We talking about all of it, my people, so go ahead, share your opinions. We're going back and forth. Give me a second. Let me grab breakfast for my son. Quick commercial break, my peoples. I'll be right back with you. I'm over here talking to myself. Straight up goof ballery. My peoples, welcome to another episode of Boxing for Breakfast. I'm giving you guys this healthy dosage of sweet science early in the morning. We talking about Terence Crawford and what a career. This is a, a bittersweet moment for all of us, I think, because come on, man, we want to see more of the greatest fighter of this era. We want to get more of that, and it's over. That's it. But, Terence Crawford fighting Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, those would have been great fights, and we missed out on those. Side, Keith said, when that WB no belt, he knows what would have happened. Man, listen, I remember when Keith first said that Terence Crawford, haven't done anything to get a fight. And he beat Jeff Horn. And how can you get more titles if all the titles were with the PBC and none of them guys will fight Crawford? So they held on to that narrative that he ain't fight nobody. Why we gonna fight you? What have you done? And they just didn't fight him, man. We wanted that fight. A lot of people wanted to see it. Jazz, greetings from Albania. Salute. Appreciate you dropping in. We talking about Terence Crawford, one of the greatest fighters of all time. Definitely the greatest of this era. The accomplishments, the career. What a career, my people. And how much pushback Terence Crawford just got for his whole career, throughout his whole career. He didn't beat nobody. People just discrediting or diminishing his opponents. Just people just refuse to accept his greatness. They would prefer to point at opponents and diminish them than say, you know what, yeah, this guy's great. This guy's one of the greatest to do it. People just don't want to give him that credit. So what's really going to do? Is he really going to for good and just focus on other things? Because we already know Terence Crawford owns a lot of property, owns his own gym, has his endorsement deals. He has enough things to do to keep his time occupied. And he makes and has enough money to stay away from boxing if he chooses to. Is he going to fight an exhibition? Is he going to come back and maybe even a few exhibitions? Like, what's going to happen? How is this all going to play out? And one interesting thing to point out about Crawford is that people have always tried to build and spread this narrative about how he don't make money like that. He don't got money like that. And the guy ends up in Forbes magazine that this guy made over $100 million and is making all types of money from all type of places. So, it turns out that Crawford was playing chess with him. Let him think he broke. Let him think he ain't got it. Let him think. And now he appear on GQ magazine. So here's the magic question, my people. Those fans who celebrate other fighters and say, no, because he making more money. They making money. Well, Crawford got more money than all them niggas. You gonna celebrate him now? Or you still not? Now it's not about the money. Before it was like, oh, it's about the money and this guy's getting money. Well, Crawford got more money than them peoples. Now what? Now what's a new angle to hate? That's the thing. That's how you know the difference between someone who appreciates the sport and what's happening versus someone who's focused on building narratives. For one fighter, you celebrated his money. We would all do the same thing too. He's gonna get the bag. We would do it too. Well, Crawford made over $100 million. Well, you're not celebrating him. I would have did the same thing too. He got the bag. Why not? You thought he was broke. You thought he ain't making money like that. You thought, oh, he don't make money like that. The funny thing is the people that are still saying that he's not marketable. Somebody earlier in the chat said that. I think that was one of the dummies that got blocked. He's not marketable. Terence Crawford is not marketable. Motherfucker, you don't see that Crawford right now got to deal with a watch company, with a clothing company like this. This guy's the most marketable boxer right now in boxing, B. There is no fighter more marketable than Terence Crawford right now. But the fake narrative that people want to put on him, that's just what makes him feel good. None of them dudes could have messed with Buzz says side. Look what happened to King Spence. Yo, Errol almost got killed out there. Y'all seen it. Damn, they got murked. Side, 100 million in the ring don't sound bad for me. But owns a lot of property in Omaha. He got his own street too. He own mad property. Mad property. Come on now. Shy Guy, people are mad the same way Mayweather got people mad. People are mad. Chicken Chaser, Crawford Benavidez. What round did you have Canelo knocking Crawford out in? Chicken Chaser. What round do you think that Canelo was going to knock Crawford out in? I'm just curious. Curiosity and whatnot. But we gotta see the reality, my people. Crawford retiring now, for him, it could be the perfect time. Because there's not a lot of big stars at 160. I would say the biggest name at 160 or the biggest champion is Carlos Adames. And Carlos Adames got the WBC belt, so he already know he can't fight him. So you're going to try to pick up vacant titles. You know, you're going to try to pick up vacant straps. Chicken Chaser, Canelo, bro. But you didn't answer the question. The question was what round you had Canelo knocking him out in. Sad, I knew that Canelo was watch comment was coming. Of course. It's predictable. It's almost like everybody know what Chicken Chaser is going to say. Everybody know what he's going to say. Chicken Chaser, go ahead, go with the narrative. We waiting for you. What round did you have him knocking Crawford out in? Because now you want him to fight a bigger guy, so I'm guessing you had Canelo knocking him out, but he wasn't big enough like you thought. Come on, man. These people don't understand that they talking to Jay Stradamus. So, Chicken Chaser, you're not going to tell us what round you had Canelo knocking him out in? I guess Chicken Chaser is not going to tell us what was the round that he picked for Canelo to win this fight. I was just trying to gauge your level of anger, because if you had Canelo stopping him late, you had Canelo by decision, you're lying. You need a 24-hour break. You're lying. You're talking to the human algorithm. You're a liar. 24, 24, 24. Come back tomorrow and be more honest. He said UD. This dude had Canelo knocking him out, making it look easy. When they lie like that, that means he had Canelo knocking him out like in the 3rd round. Shy Guy. I had Canelo knocking, but I think round 6 or something. You see what I'm saying? People, be honest, bro. Keep it real. Now everybody had Canelo winning by decision. Yo, that dude is like the 10th dude that says, nah, I had Canelo winning by decision, though. Come on, man. You guys know we was doing this thing for 3 months. We was polling for 3 months. Who had Canelo winning by decision? Now everybody had Canelo winning by decision. Stop the cap, my peoples. But that shows the greatness of Terence Crawford, that you even gotta lie. You gotta lie. You can't even be honest about what you thought was gonna happen. That's what shows you the greatness of Terence Crawford, my people. That right there shows you when you gotta lie, hate. They did it to Floyd Mayweather. They did it to Muhammad Ali. They did it to Sugar Ray Leonard. They done it to all the all-time greats. That's what y'all haters do. And that's what you're always gonna do. You're always gonna find something negative that you wanna say. Look how he showed up and the first thing he said, he need to fight Benavidez. God damn. I just need to know when you thought Canelo was gonna knock him out so I could gauge your level of anger. Shot cool hands. Now most people knew. So it had to be because Canelo couldn't box with the great Terence Bud Crawford. Listen, man. The way that people felt sure, felt confident that Canelo was gonna knock Crawford out. That's what shows you what great of a win that was. What great of a win that is. So many people saying the same thing. Too big, too strong, weight class for a reason. Canelo's gonna knock him out. And then they have to witness that. And then he beat Canelo the way that he did. There is no conversation. There is no, oh, Canelo got robbed or it was closer. No. Bait his ass. PS3, there's a pattern. All those great boxers have one thing in common. It's what they hate. Come on now. Come on now. When you look at the great fighters, there's always going to be that common denominator. Hate. Fans hating. And the main reason for that is because fighters end up, not fighters, fans end up aligning themselves with a promotional company. That happened with PBC fans. PBC fans started alienating other fighters and just focusing on PBC fighters. And everybody else was no good. Everybody else was overrated. Everybody else. The PBC convinced their fans into that narrative. So no matter what Terence Crawford did and accomplished, you saw a whole PBC fan base trying to discredit and downplay it. That guy, our GOAT, Terence Crawford, he's the guy, the greatest of this era. Danny Castillo, why has Terence Crawford gave any of his boxers a rematch? Why has Terence Crawford gave any of his boxers a rematch? Every boxer he's bought, he's only 5-0, but he would not give him a rematch for afraid of losing a rematch. He would have. Damn, man, tú te estás desahogando, vi. Dale. I don't even know what you're talking about, man. Talking about a rematch. He beat everybody's ass. There's nobody there that was worthy of a rematch. MS, is Canelo still scrambling to find the next opponent to redeem himself for Cinco de Mayo, or has he found one yet? So, I saw Eddie Reynoso say that they're not going to fight on Cinco de Mayo weekend. They're going to look to get back in the ring in September. I actually said that they want to rematch Crawford in September, but they already know what the number is. Crawford is officially retired, but I believe if they say we got you $100 million, he's going to fight. He'll be back. Give him the money. That guy, Crawford, is this generation's GOAT. There's no getting around that. That's just the reality. That's just the reality. When we look at the accomplishments and then finally he fought Canelo, jumping up 2 divisions, that's it. There isn't anyone in this generation that's going to accomplish anything like that. Plain and simple. Sad. Canelo going to fight Shiraz, Pacheco winner. Yup. They're going to align him because Mauricio the goofball Sulaiman, he just can't wait to get that title back to Canelo. If Shiraz beat him up, they're going to feel stupid as hell. Because, you know, that's all they want. They want Canelo to have that belt. They're going to feel goofy as hell if he lose again. That guy beat Canelo flawlessly. And they thought Canelo was going to knock him out. That's what they thought. Look at the way it played out. The same thing with Errol. Y'all remember the narrative? Y'all remember? Errol's too big. Errol's too strong. Crawford's not going to be able to hold him back. Y'all remember the narrative? And what happened in that fight? Crawford damn near caught a body. Damn near committed a murder. Damn near killed Errol. PS3, man, I wish Crawford was in the same era as Pac-Man, Mayweather, in their prime. That would have been beautiful to see, man. I think Crawford competes in any era that you put him, competes, possibly beats all of them. Side. Danny, put the bottle down. Yeah, man, yeah. He ranting a little bit over there. That guy, keep doubting Crawford, and he will show us all. That's all he did. All he did was continue to win. Danny Castillo, then why wouldn't he give nobody a rematch then? Danny Castillo, rematches normally happen when a fight is too close. Who do you suggest Terence Crawford should rematch? Because you keep saying, why would he give a rematch? And you're saying he's afraid of losing, but why would you give a rematch to a fighter that you beat up? So you have a fan perspective because you don't like Terence Crawford. I understand that you wanted Canelo to win, and he beat Canelo up. But what do you think is going to happen if he rematch Canelo? You're going to beat him up again, bro. Normally a rematch is because a fight was too close, and it's like, okay, we're going to have to do a rematch to see who's really better. Who do you think that may have been better than Crawford for you to be talking about rematch? So, either you don't like Crawford or you simply don't know shit about boxing. Because if you don't know shit about the sport, then you don't understand what is the point of a rematch. Shy Guy, I think Crawford will get beat up by Marco Antonio Barrera. PS3, no need for a rematch, but beat them convincingly. Like, bro, he literally beat everybody. Side, Danny don't know shit about boxing. That's what it looks like. He didn't give no rematch. Why would you give a rematch? Errol Spence and Canelo, bro, he stopped Errol Spence in brutal fashion. Like, what are you talking about? Not only that, there was a rematch clause, and it was Errol who chose to not fight. Like, do you follow boxing or you just chat GPT and shit to say? Because it was Errol who retired, who left and didn't take the rematch clause. Danny Castillo, see, that's just it. Everybody think he will beat him up again. I don't believe he will the second time around. Yeah, but you don't know shit about boxing, so what you believe doesn't really matter. You got to look at what I believe. That's what really matters. Because just by what you already said, I know you never boxed a day in your life. You never competed in your life. You just watch boxing on TV. And you decided that you know boxing. No, you don't know shit about boxing, bro. Watch me. I'm telling you the same shit happens. You see, what I think matters, what you think don't. PS3, butt out boxes Canelo. Canelo had no clue what to do. Like, look, if a fight is close, if the fight is competitive, then you can say, you know what, yeah, it could happen. But if you out there being outclassed, if you out there getting cooked, what is you talking about, man? What are we doing? Shackle hands, EJ retired without an announcement. Like Crawford beat that, like Crawford damn near killed Darryl. This man damn near committed a murder. And you're talking about give Arrow a rematch. Have you not noticed that Arrow haven't even been in the ring since that fight? Arrow never even fought since. What rematch you talking about? He beat Arrow into retirement, bro. Come on, man. Danny Castillo, that's the only reason why you're on his leg. Because you praise Crawford. I mean, you know, he didn't he beat Arrow, like, beat the shit out of him? Did you watch the fight? Side, Crawford versus Arrow was a mugging. Yo, that's the type of beating that you go home and you tell your wife that you got jumped by 5 motherfuckers. You don't even tell your wife you got beat up by 1 dude. You tell her and the kids, yo, man, it was like 5 dudes, man. I was beating one up, but it was one punching me from the back, one punching me from the side, another one was stomping me. And it was just Terence Crawford. It was 1-on-1. That's the way it played out. You don't want to say that to nobody. This man left Errol Spence looking like E.T. You don't remember Errol's face? Side, bro looked like he got jumped. Come on, bro. You think it was a group of Mexicans that pummeled him in Texas? And it was just Terence Crawford. Beat him up. That guy, Crawford beats Usyk, in my opinion, if he was at Crawford weight. If they was in the same weight class, I believe it too. Usyk himself said, Terence Crawford is the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world. Usyk said that. That's it. Say no more. Side, straight up mugging. Superman, you should have been Tiger to save the day. Shy guy, AT phone hospital. Bro, the beating of a lifetime. The beating of a lifetime, bro. Bro almost caught a homicide case that night. We witnessed it. Savage-minded. Errol Spence's face was like Martin when he got beat up by Hearns. Pummeled in all type of ways. Lumped up. Side. Now Errol walking like an old man. PS3. Errol Spence was not the same after that beating. You see what I'm saying? People try to bring up the car accident. Man, fuck the car accident. Buck Crawford beat the shit out of Errol. Buck Crawford made him not the same. Forget the accident. You see what Crawford did to him? He recovered from the accident faster than he recovered from Bud. Ike Mike, Peace J in chat. Salute family. Bam. Side, my leg. Come on, man. Forget about the accident. You see what Crawford did to him? Side, butt punched Canelo so hard, he lifted his leg up. Yo, that was funny. That was funny right there. And then when he went, he did the Zoolander face. Punched Canelo so hard, he did the Zoolander face. Y'all seen that? Shot cool hands. He was fighting early in the fight because we watched it on here too. Danny Castillo, you don't think Benavidez will knock him out? I don't think they'll ever fight each other. But the fact that you keep bringing up Benavidez with Crawford name, you need a 24-24-24. 24-24-24. Bam! We talk to you tomorrow, family. We're not talking about Benavidez. We're talking about Terence Crawford, the greatest fighter of this era, and all that he accomplished. We're not talking about what you think about other fighters that he's not going to fight. Shackle hands. He tried to walk out the ring at one point. Beating of a lifetime. Where he was not expecting, outclassed. That's the thing. When somebody's getting outclassed, they know it. You know you're outclassed. You know there ain't nothing you could do about it. I've been in the ring. Highly, highly outclassed. And I know what that feels like. There just ain't shit you're going to do about it. They're going to do what they want to do with you. Side, that jab was wicked. Canelo didn't want to be there. I try to tell people, for some weird reason, Crawford's jab is something that is not even spoken about. And I've been telling people like that whip-like jab. Because that's the one thing. Crawford got them long-ass arms, man. He one of them dudes. Look. I'll show you. Crawford is one of them dudes. Look at me standing up. Look at my arms right here. Look at my pockets. You see? That's my pockets. Yo, Crawford is one of them dudes that his arms just be hanging down the head. He's standing straight, but the arms shit be down here, almost down to his knees and shit. He got the long ass arms, my people. That's why that reach, that jab, the way he executed it, the way he put it in Canelo's mouthpiece, in Errol's nose piece, it was just surgical. He was surgical with it. Mike, hammering jab versus EJ. And you see that jab that he was putting in Canelo's face too? Pop! Pop! That jab, bro. And we talk about it from time to time, about the importance of the jab. And when you work behind that jab and how you set your opponents up with it. Crawford was that guy. And not just the jab, it's just the whole arsenal. The jab from the orthodox and the southpaw stance, the same quick, fast, snappy, stiff jab from both stands, whether it's the left hook or the right hook, the uppercuts, everything from either side. There was no fighter who was able to overcome that. And how do you prepare for a fighter like Terence Crawford? How do you really prepare for a guy like that? How? You have to really think about it. Terence Crawford is the type of fighter who can fight you the whole fight as a southpaw or the whole fight as an orthodox fighter. And he can also switch between rounds or switch mid-round. How do you really know what version of Crawford is going to step in the ring with you? Sorry, Jay Smith, how do you think Bud does if he was in the 140, 147 landscape today? Now, nobody beats Terence Crawford. He'll be the guy that'll stand up above everybody. The same way he did it in his era, he'll do it now. He'll do it in any era. Side, switch mid combos. We've seen him do that too. Seen him do it all. PS3, Crawford should be a trainer after retirement. His boxing IQ needs to be passed on. And look, not necessarily a trainer. I don't think he's going to be a trainer just because for you to be an effective trainer, you have to put a lot of time into it. You know, you have to spend a lot of time with your fighters. And I think Crawford has way too much going on to become a trainer. There's other ways that you pass that knowledge down, right? And you work with Bomac and you work with fighters from time to time. You help fighters out. But also keep in mind, just because you're a great fighter doesn't mean that you're going to be a great trainer. Because you could be great at executing, but not necessarily great at passing it down because you don't have the patience. You don't have the patience to watch somebody keep messing up and keep making a mistake, which that's part of being a great coach. If you're a great coach, you got to see somebody fuck up over and over and over, and you got to be ready and willing to explain it over and over. And great fighters don't have that patience. That's why you see it. How many great fighters can you say became a great coach? They could be, you know, a great trainer for a bit. Like, I'll help you in a training camp. But I don't think we've seen a great fighter, you know, grab somebody from early on, develop them, and make them a world champion. Unless it's like their kids, like look at Fernando Vargas. He did it with his own kids. But great fighters, you know, like just becoming a trainer and being in a gym and grabbing somebody young and develop, that takes a lot of time. And great fighters, in most cases, they don't have the talent to do that. Mike, Terence Crawford's movement, speed, punch selection, patience, truly poetry in motion. No lies told, my God. PS3, Crawford trainer, underrated. Man, listen, Bomac should have been trainer of the year, like I think at this point 4 or 5 years in a row. With the type of work that he putting in. Like, he should be trainer of the year all the time. O'Neal, Victor Conti passes and Crawford retires. Coincidence? He dug boots. I mean, you just connected a lot of points. That leads me to one question, O'Neal. Remind us what round you had Canelo knocking Crawford out in. What round do you think Canelo was going to knock him out in? Jay Santana, he probably will come back. Just positioning a bigger purse, I hope. No, look, because here's the deal. Terence Crawford has generational wealth. He doesn't have to come back. The guy made over $100 million recently, but he has a lot of money besides that. He has a lot of property, a lot of investments, endorsement deals. Crawford got money coming from all angles that he don't know what to do with it. So he don't have to fight. His, you know, financially, his future is secured. His kids' futures is secured. So for him to fight, they have to offer him a bag that he had to say, okay, hey, we'll do that. 100 million. That's the number, easy. Side, I see the narrative starting now too. They saying Bud retired because Conti died. You know how it is, man. They always gonna do the conspiracies. When you have the greatest fighters, you can't be one of the greatest if there's not a bunch of haters putting up weird-ass conspiracies. You can't be one of the greatest. That's just the way it is. Miguel Rodriguez, Crawford is a beautiful mix of boxing and fighting. Not many fighters can box and fight at the elite level. The way Crawford did it. It's not many that can, you know, stand there and bang with you if that's what you do, or I'll box you if that's what you want to do. Dictate the pace, do it from the southpaw stance, do it from the orthodox stance. Remember, my peoples, although we've seen fighters who can switch, who can do it from both sides, we don't know anybody of this entire generation besides Jerome Boots Ennis who fights from both sides as effectively. I've seen Terence Crawford fight a whole fight as a southpaw and a whole fight as an orthodox fighter. And of course, we've seen him switch 50 times during a fight. Mike, what about Roy? I mean, look, Roy's a great fighter, but as a trainer, he hasn't really accomplished much. We haven't really, you know, I know, like I said, as a great fighter, you can help fighters polish their skills. You can help them with some things. But to just be a full-time trainer, I don't think great fighters have that patience. Dontel Knight, I think he'll be back. This is how you get the biggest payday ever. I said it's a possibility, and my point of view is he already said what the number is. $100 million. He retired. Canelo wants a rematch for September. Y'all got $100 million, we can make this fight happen. Y'all don't got $100 million. I got a shitload of money, a shitload of businesses, a shitload of endorsements. I don't need you. Peace. JJ Sendejas. Best one that I know close to that is Robert Garcia. Robert Garcia, but I would say Robert Garcia is considered someone who was a very good fighter, but he's not great. Like people don't say, when people talk about the greats of the era, Robert Garcia is never brought up. He's brought up as somebody who was a good fighter and a good champion, but nah, I've never heard someone say, yo, Robert Garcia was the great of his era, or he was the guy that was running the show, or nah. Great champion, not the greatest, or even one of them. I don't even think Robert Garcia was ever a pound for pound fighter. Gabriel, he didn't duck no effing boots. I mean, you know the fake narratives. Boots got offered the fight, and they didn't take it. Jay Smith, get him the fuck out of here. You're going to have to do the goofballs like that. Side, double tap that screen, my peoples. We've been going for almost 2 hours, and I didn't even get 30 likes, man. What's going on this morning, man? Y'all want to hate on Terence Crawford or hate on me? Hit that like button, y'all. Kevin, was you a pro boxer? No, I was an amateur boxer. Only had one fight as a professional. I lost, by the way, before anybody even asked. I had one fight when I was 44 years old, my brother. That's it. One and done. Side, I'll box you and I'll fight you. No matter how you want to do it, Terence Crawford will give it to you. Pause. Gregory Stevens. Jake Paul is the greatest boxer ever. Okay, congratulations. You a dummy. Welcome to the block party, dummy. Shaku hands. But you got some dummies saying he ducked Nello rematch. I mean, those are really dummies right there. To say that he's ducking Canelo rematch, you really got to be a dummy. Side, Hagler and Crawford, the best switchers ever. I think Jerome Bruce Ennis is going to join that list. I think he could really be, one of those. Savage-minded. WBC is ruining boxing. Now, the WBC, they're ruining themselves because they're diminishing their brand. And with TKO right around the corner, they actually gave Dana White and His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh a layup when they did that to Crawford. Because that's going to be a perfect recruiting tool to tell young fighters, yo, come to TKO. Look what they did to Terence Crawford. Imagine you're a nobody. How they going to treat you? Nobody know you. Come to TKO. Forget about them people who's just trying to get the belt to their guys. Because I've been told y'all. And I got some flack for it. But it's just the truth. Mauricio Sulaiman don't like black people. That's just the reality. He don't like us. Let's keep it 100. We know it. Side. Everyone they say but duck actually ducked him. The same way with Shakur. Jeffrey Billings says, salute, the same way with Shakur. The people who duck Shakur, they'll say it's Shakur ducking them. Irvin Mack. What happened to Victor Conte? He died. That's what happened. I think he got health issues. Old man died. Supreme Green, lawn care. Congratulations to Crawford. No doubt, my brother. Congratulations to the greatest fighter of this era. And, we got to witness history. We got to witness so many great performances from Terence Crawford. JJ said that's get him the fuck out of here. .org. Shaku Hands. Tuck Smith, you didn't see Buzz video. He thanked TKO and the rest of his team. I mean, come on now. TKO might get an opportunity, a little 100 mils. A little 100 mils. And they're going to bring Crawford to TKO to open up the floodgates for more people to say, damn, F Mauricio, the goofball Sulaiman. We're going over there. Lolo. Nah, you ain't got to say that, man. That's if you insecure by yourself. You gotta say, like, Dame Dash, say that shit after every sentence. You know how to say that shit after every sentence. Genuine guy. Please, not a racist remark at all. I'm trying to ask this in a polite way. Why the greatest boxers of all time been colored? Why the greatest boxers of all time been colored? Um, that's a complex question that you're asking. If we think about the greatest of all times, the majority have been black fighters. But I think it's simply because when you look at all time, African American fighters dominated boxing in many different weight classes. And I'm going to tell you why. I think I could give you a reasonably good answer. So if you think about it, the United States dominated boxing for decades and decades and decades. Why? Because the U.S. has been the mecca for boxing. Like, even if you make it anywhere else, you got to come fight in the U.S. So because of that, in the U.S., they started developing the better training methods, which they were also doing in Cuba and in other countries. But remember, in Cuba, you can't turn professional. In the U.S., you can. So I think that training techniques developed in boxing in the U.S. earlier, and people started doing things in boxing and getting better. I would compare it to the NBA. The NBA is the best league in the world, right? But if you look at the NBA back in the day when they used to compete around the world, they used to beat everybody by 50 points, by 60 points. Now the USA team loses once in a while when they go to other countries. Now they go to other countries and they win by 1 and 2 points. Now they've lost by 10 points and double. They've lost. They got their ass kicked. Why? Because the U.S. was running back boxing for years, because basketball for years, they started it, but all of those training techniques to develop young talent started going to different places of the world, and eventually the world is catching up with the USA basketball to the point when you look at the All-Star game in the NBA, it's a bunch of fighters from Europe. It's a bunch of fighters from different countries. The majority may not even be American anymore in the All-Star game. So that's what we're seeing in boxing too. Boxing all over the world was behind. So while they were behind, USA boxers was accomplishing, winning, winning. And the world was starting to catch up slowly. So now, who's the heavyweight champion of the world? Alexander Usyk, a guy from Europe. When is the last time that we had an African-American heavyweight champion besides Deontay Wilder? When is the last time that we had an American heavyweight that we say, okay, this guy's running the heavyweight division? Because we had Wilder, but the moment he collided with another champion, he got cooked. And who got him? Fury, another fighter from Europe. So what we're seeing, and then in the lower division, who dominates the lower divisions, the 112 and whatever's below that? The guys from Asia. The Asian fighters are dominating those divisions. So the landscape of boxing changed because other countries around the world just started getting more advanced training techniques. Look here in the Dominican Republic, we brought Cuban coaches to train the fighters out here. So you're gonna see a different skill set. Okay, I'm gonna change it for you. My peoples, salute to everybody tuning in to this episode of Boxing for Breakfast. Yo, I tried, my brother, to give you the best answer that I could. I think that when you look at the all-time greats, Americans are gonna be the majority in that list because throughout the history of boxing, the USA was leading the show. Now, when you look at the all-time greats kicking off, the 2000 era, you're going to see more European fighters. You're going to see more Asian fighters. You're going to see people from different parts of the world joining the all-time greats. My peoples, I'm going to go ahead and take a 1-minute break, quick hydration, and we be back. We talking boxing. Terence Crawford, the greatest fighter of this era. We talking about it, my peoples. One of the greatest to ever do it. We may never see him again. I'll be back with you shortly. My peoples, the goofballery. I was on mute. So check it, man. We're lucky to have witnessed the type of history that Bud was able to create. We got to see it. We got to enjoy it. Come on now. Come on, my peoples. Ike Mike says, I'd like to shake Bud's hand and take a pic with the living legend. I'm going to tell you something, man. One of my dreams, when Terence Crawford announced his retirement, one of my dreams got shattered, bro. One of my dreams was to call a Terence Crawford fight live. Like for me to be at the venue, officially calling the fight. Terence Crawford with the left hook to the body, the right hand to the dome piece, the left hand to the toupee. Crawford with the brutal shots. I'm not going to get that opportunity. So I wish, like that would have been the summit for me. As far as, because there's a lot of things that I love to do within boxing. I love being in the neutral corner. I love calling the fights, whether I'm calling it from home or live right there from the venue. But one of the things that would have been my dream come true would have been to call the Terence Crawford fight, which I haven't even gotten an opportunity to call fights live at a big network. But, you got to dream big, right? Damn, it's not going to happen, though. Maybe Crawford can come to Dominican Republic and do an exhibition, and they'll let me call that. Wishful thinking, right? My peoples, I want to give a shout out to everybody who tuned in this morning. JJ Zendejas was in the building. Northside was in the building. Ike Mike. Supreme Green Lawn Care LLC. Side Shaku Hands. Who else was in the building? Ryan, give me a... Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. You can go. Kevin was in the building. A lot of people tuned in this morning. A lot of love. That guy was in the building. Shy guy. The Hydro Grind. My peoples, one love to everybody who tuned in this morning. Y'all know what it is. I like to always give shout outs before ending the show. Simply because you guys make this show what it is. I always like to remind you that. Without you guys, this show would not be what it is. And by the way, today, my peoples, we're gonna watch Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos. Why? Because we're gonna dissect that fight to see what actually went down. Mike, no offense, but historically, blacks have always dominated physically and mental contests. I'll never change, especially us remaining public enemy number one. So you have to take this into consideration, Mike, because you have to be fair, right? If you look at the heavyweight division, bro, is not ruled, and hasn't been ruled by black fighters in a long time. And then forget about that. Look at the lower divisions. The lower divisions are absolutely ran by Asians. They own those divisions. And Mexicans too. There's some Mexicans that are also running the show down there. So I think that African American athletes, not African, just black athletes in general, because it could be someone from Africa, it could be someone from a different part of the world, right? Have shown dominance physically, but when it comes to skill sports, which boxing is a skill sport, we're seeing Europe and other countries catching up because we're seeing it in the ring. We're seeing what's happening. If you look at the world champions, there's a lot. Think about this, bro. Look at the world champions from Europe in the 90s or the 80s, and look at the world champions from Europe now, today. Or let me give you another example, Mike, so you can see what I mean. The U.S., back in the 80s, they had Olympic Games where they came back with 5 and 6 medals in boxing. They did that all the time, coming back with a bunch of medals, gold medals, or different medals. Bro, in these last Olympics, the USA brought back 1 bronze medal. That was it. So what I'm trying to show you, my guy, is that the USA doesn't run boxing anymore like they used to. And you're seeing it with the world champions. Usyk from Europe. Inoue from Asia. And you're seeing a better BF from Europe. You're seeing a lot of champions from different parts of the world, from all over. So it's not like before. That's why I brought up the NBA, because the NBA used to run boxing on the world scale. And today, the NBA, they still run boxing on the world scale. But the best players in the world are not from the USA. Look at Luka Doncic from Europe. One of the biggest names in the NBA. One of the best in the NBA. White dude from Europe. So that's what I'm saying. We're seeing a difference in other countries around the world that are raising their level of competitiveness, that are raising their skill. Eric Gomes, butt ducking the smoke. Oh, just fine. Side, here Eric Gomes with the butt hate, the usual Terence Crawford hate from Eric Gomes, who always disappear on Monday for goofiest of the oofiest. Shaku Hands, you said the NBA run boxing. Oh, shit, man. Goofiest of the oofiest. But what I meant to say is that it's very similar. You see how in the NBA, back in the days, they was running everything, running the world in boxing. And today, the NBA is still the shit. But there's people coming from all over the world that are some of the best in the world. And they not American. They not from the U.S. So we're seeing the same thing in boxing. The best boxers are not always going to be American anymore. And they're not going to always be African American. Jay is in the house. Jay Smith, get the fuck out of here. That's how you got to do it, man. That's how you got to do it. But We know that Eric Gomes is a certified Terence Crawford hater. We gotta let him hate. Shackle hands, exactly. But the Europeans are nice. Alexander Usyk is the best heavyweight of this era. And if it's not him, it would be Tyson Fury, who's also European. And then you look at the guys coming up. Look at Jai Opataya coming up. Look at Terra So there's some dudes out there from different places of the world that they can fight. I'm coming right now. Shaku hands, Eric Gomes, live for the gate. JJ's in their house. God bless everyone has a good day. Do your best today for you and your family. Ooh, great words. And there you have it, my people. Those are the words of wisdom, the words of Jay Stradamus, words of the day, which I haven't given you these in a while. And this is a main theme with me and my family, with JJ's in their house and his family. My peoples, take care of your family. Take care of your family. Don't be diluted. Don't be diluted by social media. Eric Gomes is going to need a 24, 24, 24. I'm going to see you tomorrow, Eric. I'm about to end the show. We don't need your hate right now. Don't be diluted with social media. Don't put so much on a narrative that people want to spread, and just look at the facts. People's always going to spread a fake narrative. Look at the facts. And in life, is that way too. Forget about what people are saying. What are you doing? You taking care of your kids. You taking care of your family. You spending time with your family. You spending time with your kids. So come on now. Come on, my peoples. Let's make it happen. The year is about to end. Let's end the year with a bang. Spend some time with your family. Spend money on your family, man. Us, most of us as men, I know a few ladies go up in here, but us men, bro, spend time with your family. Spend money on your wife. Stop spending all your money on them hoes. I know them hoes might give you a good time, but don't spend all your money on them, bro. Spend it on your wife too and on your kids. And let's have a good Christmas. No controversy. No drama. Grasshopper plus hookers. Don't spend all your money on hookers. I understand you. One day you go, you stressed out. All right. You need to get some knowledge. Do you? But don't make it a habit, bro. Enjoy your Christmas with your family, with your loved ones. My peoples, y'all already know what it is, man. Jay Smith in the building. I'm getting the hell out of here. Oh, by the way, tonight, I'm going to be live again. We're going to be watching that, we're going to be watching Teofimo Lopez versus George Kambosos. I'm actually going to be calling that fight. I'm going to be doing commentary like if I'm watching it live, so that we can then dissect that fight, because people acting like Teofimo just got beat up out there. Like he got pummeled. We're going to have to address that, because Teofimo almost put Kambosos out of there. So I don't want to hear about Teofimo almost got killed. Now, peoples, y'all already know what it is, man. I'm out of here. I'm going to see you guys tonight. Teofimo versus Kambosos. We watching that. We got to talk about it. Peace. Jay Smith signing off. Leave the goddamn hookers and the girlfriends alone. Focus on the wife, my people. It's the holidays. Focus on the wife. Me voy de aquí.